Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program Superdawn. I am Vera Osipor with you.
And I am Anthony Usaibovo. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Vera.
Good morning to you, Anthony. It's a Friday, and this is a Friday edition. But before we go into today's edition, something happened yesterday at the Otodalas Bridge. It was a sad one when a tanker load rammed into loads of vehicles and caused a ghastly motor accident where some people lost their lives and properties were also lost in that inferno. And I asked a question, and what we wanted to do today, I don't know. It's so sad when you hear this kind of natural disaster. It's sad when you hear things like this, people losing their lives, properties, about over 50-something vehicles, about 50-plus vehicles were destroyed in that accident yesterday. And my heart goes to them, really. It was a sad one, but I saw a display of professionalism in the part of the LASTMA officials, the road safety officials, the police. All of those agencies were just there to control this incident. Doctors were also there. I want to say that this is how it should be. I must give Lagos State that kudos for carrying out these activities well yesterday. But we can also look at what has caused this. We can also begin to look at our speed limiter. The federal government has put speed limiter. Are these vehicles using it? Why are trailer load always causing this kind of heartbreaking situation? Why is it always happening from that end? What can we do to stop it? I think it's a sad one, honestly. It was a sad evening yesterday. Away from all of those things that happened yesterday, we're going to look at our security again, taking a look at what happened in Plateau State. And so we're looking at herdsmen, President Buhari overhauling the security in Nigeria. We're going to look into that as well, and the phone lines will be open. And don't forget that we also have our sports segment this morning, and we'll be talking about Russia 2018. More surprises coming up from that angle. It's a Friday, and we'll go on this break. We'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. It's the newspaper review segment this Friday morning. I want to start with the Nation newspaper, and it said rage of fire in Lagos. You have the picture there, loads of vehicles burnt down, and the fire is still on in this picture. The scene of horror. It's indeed horrible. Yesterday, where some of the burnt vehicles, you could see that in the picture story of the Nation newspaper. Some vehicles on fire by the left-hand side, if you're watching right now. We're seeing right now the rescue workers on the scene trying to help out also. And the writer here says 9 die, 54 vehicles burn in that tanker fire. And I'm going to read what someone wrote here. I was beside my truck when the incident occurred. I saw the truck lose control and hit the pillar. The tank broke away from the head of the truck and opened. Fuel started gushing out. The driver of a car behind the truck tried to reverse, but the car caused a spark and the tank caught fire. The bodies I saw were more than 16. They were mostly children. It was a sad one in Lagos State, and this writer also says that Buhari and Bode sympathize with victims' families. I can still not get over it when I saw the video. It went viral yesterday.
Everyone had it. Everyone had it.
Everybody.
You know, I want to commend the fire service for containing the fire, because once we're called, we're going to go get the reports, cover the whole thing. But the traffic was just too much. It caused too much traffic, even affected this area of the states. But then, despite all of that, they were still able to get down there fast as possible and contain the fire. And it's a good thing, but then my heart goes to those that lost people.
Not to worry, we're going to give you that. It's going to come up in our news so you can see it if you've not seen that. We also have here 4 injured. No fewer than 9 persons died and about 54 vehicles burnt yesterday during the tanker fire outbreak on Otedela Bridge in Lagos suburb on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. 4 people, 2 of them critically, were injured as though caught in the fire tried to escape. The incident occurred at the speck of traffic as workers were returning home around 5 p.m. after the close of work. It led to serious traffic snare in and out of the state. This says Lagos commiserates with victims' families and says development most unfortunate and regrettable. The Lagos state government has commiserated with families of victims who lost their lives and properties in the fatal tanker's explosion, which occurred yesterday on the Otedela Bridge, inward Ududubega area of the state on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. No fewer than 9 lives were lost in that late evening accident, and in which 54 vehicles were burnt and 4 people critically injured. You could also see loads of stories here, picture inside the Nation newspaper. We also have this, believe me, pictures cannot do justice to what I saw. The tanker and the cars burning, and the 15-seater and 18-seater buses also burning with some people inside. I'm still trying to count the numbers of lives gone. This is coming from someone that saw what happened.
Yeah, that's a fact, though. You know, the cars were the 45 cars, the trucks, and the other vehicles that were burnt. Definitely, people were inside those vehicles. But then, like Nigerians say, we are very, very at alert.
Yes,
and immediately we heard,
yes.
A lot of people escaped, and that's a very good one.
Some people ran away from the scene. But we have this one, Buhari, Lagos fire shocking. President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday expressed shock and sorrow over the Lagos fire that claimed at least 9 lives, in which several vehicles were burned. The president, in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, said, in the reaction, the early report reaching him concerning the incident said, he is very sad to learn of the tragic loss of lives, tens of vehicles, properties, and other vulnerables, valuables also in that incident. The president expressed his deepest condolences to the government and people of Lagos on this tragedy. Well, this also is saying the horror we saw by survivors. I must read the part of the survivors. Many survivors of the tanker's explosion on the outskirts of Lagos on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have spoken on their ordeals. In this post on social media and Instagram, he described it as devastating, okay? Baba said he saw people burning near him. Thank God for life, for I just witnessed tanker explosion on the Otedela Bridge. About 50 cars are in flames. I'm still in shock. I saw tankers exploded. The smell, the heat, the cars ramming into each other decks were trying to escape. Lives have been lost to a raving fire. Believe me, pictures cannot do justice to what I saw. Well, that's from a survival. He ran and he was saved. Thank God. Thank
live
God
and
he's
direct,
living to give the story.
Thank God. We give thanks. So.
Okay, we have this. Badagry residents stage no prepaid meter, no payment protest. Some Badagry residents have threatened to stop paying their electricity bills if they are not supplied prepaid meters. They staged what they called no prepaid meters, no payment protest to draw attention of the epileptic electricity supply in that area.
Well,
no prepaid meters, no payment, which is supposed to be.
True, the overestimated billings cannot be overemphasized. But then, yes, we are the voice. We are only exercising our human rights. They must hear us, the government, the discos. It's only right that the meters, the prepaid meters are disbursed to people, to residents that need it. And, but one thing I would like to advise the protesters is that no matter how much you try to be loud, make sure it's not violent. Make sure it's not violent.
Okay, you shouldn't go
Peaceful
into
protest.
violence. You shouldn't go into that. AIG confirms arrest of Lapai bank robbery suspect. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, AIG, Frederick Lacanu, yesterday said the police have arrested the brains behind the attack of two banks in Lapai local government area of Niger State in March. The police chief said the suspects will not be paraded yet for security reasons. So we're waiting for them to tell us why they cannot be paraded. But they said it's security reasons. And we'll take this other one. Salaries delay likely over facts deadlock. We also have Switzerland. We've returned over $1 billion of bacha loot to Nigeria. NCC withdraws 33 million redundant lines. And here, exits from Super Eagles. Mikel fights back tears. That's what we can take on the nation newspaper.
Okay, moving on to the Daily Trust here. We have oil tanker explodes, kills 9, burns 54 vehicles in Lagos, which we just took. We have here, fact deadlock may affect salaries. And this is coming from the federal government. And it comes with a writer that says, NNPC justifies 147 billion naira remittance. And on page 4 of the New Telegraph, we have killings, PDP playing in fatty politics. And this is coming from the presidency. I'll take the story. It says the presidency has slammed the opposition People's Democratic Party PDP for declaring 7-day mourning over recent killings in Plateau State, saying the party was playing cheap and infertile politics. Presidential spokesman Mr. Femi Adesina, in a statement yesterday, accused the PDP of shedding crocodile tears. The sad and unfortunate killings in Plateau State over the weekends have been turned to opportunity to once again play irresponsible politics, particularly by the PDP, which says it is declaring 7 days of mourning. I'll just take a statement. It says, these are dolorous times that call for deep introspections on how cheap human lives have become, and the proffering of actionable ideas on how to get out of the brand. But the PDP would rather dance on the graves of the dead, playing cheap infertile politics, he said. Now, personally, I only feel that this is a time when we do lots of mourning. This is a time when we do lots of upgrading of our insecurities. We talk about solutions and not really play this blame game.
Well, not being political with something that has to do with life. It's not just mourning, but what are we doing to stop the killing? Fortunately, that's what we're going to be doing today in the program. So you have some of this, we're rounding up soon.
Yes, fact meeting deadlock may affect salaries. This is coming from the FG, the federal government. Salaries in states may be affected unless issues that led to the deadlock meeting between the Federal Accounts and Allocations Committee, FAC, and governors last week were resolved. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun has said. Addressing State House reporters yesterday after a meeting of the National Economic Council, Adeosun said the cost presented by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation could not be justified. She said the NEC had demanded explanations from the NNPC for unclear cost it's made from FAC. Coming from the Minister of Finance herself, which she's someone I always want to listen to. She always have reasons for what she said, and if she says that this might really affect the salaries of workers in the states, then I think it should.
Well, I think I don't know if I always take what she says, but I weigh what she says and I try to look at it. I think it shouldn't affect salaries. They should. That's why we're looking at solutions to loads of things. If the states will, because of that, owe salaries, I don't think it's right, because people are going through, loads of people are going through some hardship, and so they need the monies. They should please get the monies out for workers in that state. Yes, we're rounding out the last story.
Okay, last story. Oyo shuts down Bodija markets as police butchers clash claims too. Butchers and men of the Oyo State Police Command clashed yesterday over the former's reluctance to relocate from Bodija markets in Ibadan to a new market in Omoshun village, Akinyele local government. Eyewitness told Daily Trust that the ripple effect spread to the other sections of the markets as traders and all the customers fled for their lives. Oof.
Okay. Away from that paper, we'll just get the headlines on Punch. And it says 9 die, 54 vehicles burnt in Lagos tanker explosion. We have here, we will start spending the $321 million Abacha loot next month, federal government. We have this one, NNPC underpayment. Adeosun asks Buhari government to act. We have the air, UN condemn Plateau killings and say AI says federal government encouraging murderers. And this writer says, wanton killings have been in Nigeria for some time. Presidency. PDP accuses INEC commissioner, others of plotting to rig Ekiti polls. And the writer says, Oni, others working for Fayemi's victory. Bamidele. We have from the CJN, police brutally extortion at frightening level. Finally, from the Punch this morning, 5 killed in Ibadan bushes police clash. You can get more stories in the Punch, Daily Trust, and the Nations this morning. This is where we come to an end of this segment. Up next, we're looking at security, and the phone lines will be open for you to call. Bringing security to an end of this country is one of the 3 points of agenda that this administration, President Muhammadu Buhari's led administration, promised. 1, security, economy, and also corruption. But when we talk security right now, we've seen since he emerged as the president of this country, we've seen where lives have been killed, wasted. And we want to look at, with our experts in the studios this morning, what else can this president do? What else can this government do? What else can the citizenry do to stop this wanton killing? We'll be right back.
These are tips to help stay strong and healthy. Learn to do stretching exercises when you wake up. It boosts circulation and digestion and eases back pain. Studies have shown that eating a proper breakfast is one of the most positive things you can do if you're trying to lose weight. Breakfast skippers tend to gain weight. A balanced diet includes fresh fruits or fruit juice, a high-fiber breakfast cereal, low-fat milk or yogurt with wheat toast, and a boiled egg. Many people do not know how to brush their teeth properly. Improper brushing can cause much damage to your teeth and gums, as not brushing at all. Lots of people do not brush for long enough, floss, nor see a dentist regularly. Hold your toothbrush in the same way that you would hold a pencil, and brush for at least 2 minutes. This includes brushing the teeth, the junction of the teeth and gums, the tongue, and the roof of the mouth. Get your daily calcium by chugging milk or eating yogurt. It will keep your bones strong. Remember that your bone's density declines after the age of 30. You need at least 200 milligrams daily, which you should combine with magnesium, or it simply would not be absorbed. Tomato is a superstar in the fruit and vegetable pantheon. Potatoes and tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful cancer fighter. They're also rich in vitamin C. The good news is that cooked tomatoes are also nutritious, so use them in pasta, soups, and casseroles, as well as salads. Tomatoes and apples can reduce the risk of asthma and chronic lung diseases. Both contain the antioxidant courseurin. To enjoy the benefits, eat 5 apples a week or tomato every day. We need at least 90 milligrams of vitamin C per day, and the best way to get this is by eating at least 5 servings of fresh fruit and vegetables every day. So hit the oranges and guavas. Folic acid should be taken regularly by pregnant moms and people with a low immunity to disease. Folic acid prevents spina bifida in unborn babies and can play a role in cancer prevention. It is found in green leafy vegetables, liver, fruit, and brain. Vitamins help to boost immunity aging diseases. It also assists in the healing process of diseases such as measles and is recommended by the World Health Organization. Good natural sources of vitamin A are kidneys, livers, dairy products, green and yellow vegetables, pawpaw, mangoes, chili peppers, red sorrel, and the red palm oil. Do not have soft drinks or energy drinks while you're exercising. Stay properly hydrated by drinking enough water during your workout. Just don't overdo things, as drinking too much water can also be dangerous. Do not eat carbohydrates for at least an hour after exercise. This will force your body to break down fat rather than using the food you ingest. Stick to fruits and fluids during that hour, but avoid beer. Don't smoke, and if you smoke already, do everything in your power to quit. Don't buy into that granny smoked and live to be 90 crude. Not even the tobacco giants believe in it. Have a pap smear once a year. Not on our list of favorite things, but it's vital. Cervical cancer kills 200,000 women a year, and it's most prevalent from the cancer of blonde black people. Pretty much everyone agrees that fish is healthy. Living is particularly true of fatty fish like salmon, which is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids and various other nutrients. Studies show that people who eat the most fish have a lower risk of sorts of diseases, including heart diseases, dementia, and depression. The importance of getting enough quality sleep cannot be overstated. It may be just as important as diet and exercise, if not more. Poor sleep can drive insulin resistance and throw your appetite hormones out of whack and reduce your physical and mental performance. What's more, it is one of the strongest individual risk factors for future weight gain and obesity. One study showed that short sleep was linked to 89% increased risk of obesity in children and 55% in adults. Drinking enough water can have numerous benefits, and one important factor is that it can help boost the amount of calories you burn. According to 2 studies, it can boost metabolism by 24 to 30% over a period of 1 to 1.5 hours. This can amount to 96 additional calories burned if you drink 2 liters of water. The best time to drink water is half an hour before meals. One study showed that half a liter of water 30 minutes before each meal increased weight loss by 40%. Extra virgin olive oil is the healthiest fat on the planet. It is loaded with heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats and powerful antioxidants that can fight inflammation. Extra virgin olive oil leads to many beneficial effects on heart and health, and people who consume olive oil have a much lower risk of dying from heart attacks and stroke.
Welcome back. We want to look at herdsmen killings and also looking at the president overhauling the security in Nigeria, especially with what happened where loads of lives were lost. This morning we have our guest in the studios that will help us out with today's topic. We have Onyekachi Adekoya. He's a security expert and a consultant. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Welcome to Superdawn.
Thank you.
Well, looking at, we just want to go straight, because if you look at what the international bodies are saying, the watchdog said concerning what happened in Plateau State, it's really frightening, saying that the federal government, they're not ready to tackle what is happening. Do you think they're right about it?
So I think there's a bit of a perception at play here. The government feels like they're doing what they should do. The realities on ground don't suggest that those efforts are translating to the desired results that the people want to see. Everybody has his own side to the story, but the man who has the most story to tell is the man who has lost a relative, someone who has lost his father, lost his mother, lost some dear loved one. I think that's the man who has the most story to tell. From our own assessment, if you look at the sheer loss of life, and the way and manner in which some of these incidents occur, and they occur without any response from those saddled responsibility of ensuring security. I think that there's a lot of things to worry about in Nigeria and in our security architecture as it stands.
Okay, maybe I should give you the statistics by the Human Rights Watchdog.
Yeah.
They said that estimatedly, they verified that about 1,813 lives, people have been murdered in 17 states, not just 5, 6 states, but
Yes.
17 states.
Yes.
And it said that it doubled if you look at the number of people killed in 2017.
Yes.
In 2017, we have about 817.
Yes.
But when we look at in 2018 from January, we've lost about 1,800 and above. Looking at this figure,
Yes.
do you think it might not increase if we don't take the right steps right
Yes,
now?
so you see, the truth about the matter is that even those figures are understated, with every due respect to the people who are stating the figures out there. Because the figures you get are from those who have reported themselves to the hospital. You know, information gathering and data capture in Nigeria is very poor. So we can even fairly say, as you found in the Plateau incident, initially it was 85 people, next thing was 135, then it's 200, now they're saying about 300. You know, the figures are all over the place. So my fear is that some of the incidents are a bit underreported. Okay, there's a far bigger problem than what we see out there. As to whether it will increase, yes, we are approaching 2019 and their interest. We did hear the president say the other day that perhaps some politicians are behind the killings. And for me, with all due respect to Mr. President, I think that those statements should not even be coming from him at all. It's totally uncalled for. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are 200 million people strong. We have 400,000 strong police force. We have one of the most revered and respected infantry army anywhere in the world. We may not be the most equipped and the most resourced, but the bravery of the Nigerian army has been commended in every peacekeeping operation they've been a part of. So if the president comes and say that politicians, if he knows the politicians, He should get the politicians and prosecute them. Every issue of criminality must be dealt with decisively. And we should stop pondering about the issues. I mean, people are dying. And I saw on social media a blood-stained coat of arms. And somebody was just writing and saying that there's a lot of bloodletting in Nigeria. God help Nigeria.
Okay, regarding the killings, you
Yes.
would agree with me that these killings have been done smoothly without intervention. Would you say, or would you accuse the police or the intelligence agencies of
Yes.
having anything to do with this, if there's a linkage between these killings and the intelligence agencies?
Okay, so because there are a lot of people viewing and people have different backgrounds, if we say without intervention, there's been some intervention, but not sufficient, okay, to stop the killings. Whether we can finger some agencies as being culpable in these whole killings, I would say absolutely yes. The Department of State Security Services is saddled with the responsibility to gather intelligence, to infiltrate certain interest groups, to be able to know what is happening in the polity and in the country, and to preempt some of these attacks. So it is a complete failure, with due respect to whatever it is they are doing there, to the DSS for not being able to glean information. So you have the DSS, you have the NIA. The president did come out to say the other day that perhaps these people are from Libya. Okay, some other people tell you that there's drought in Cameroon. Of course, global warming is causing its own problem. There's Boko Haram in the northeast. There's cattle rustling in the northwest. So there's that convergence of people and cattle and farmers, everything in the north central of Nigeria. Plus, you have some people migrating from neighboring states because of the drought problem. So yes, it's a bit of a hotbed. So if there are terrorists infiltrating from neighboring countries, the NIA should give us the information. The DSS, if there are issues of internal security, DSS should give us the information. We have a national security advisor who is supposed to coordinate the activities of the DSS and the NIA. That office should be like the melting point of intelligence gathering and coordination of government response. We are not seeing an articulate response to the issues. The issues that deal, the approach that deals with the issues at the grassroots level. We are not seeing those kind of engagement. We are not, there's a lot to be concerned about.
Okay, are you in support of what the Amnesty International said? They really blamed these killings on the federal government. They said it's a failure on their part, saying that they are encouraging impunity, fearless in this rise and insecurity in the country.
Yes.
Do you think they are right about it?
So who's responsible for security?
The government.
If there's a failure in security, who do you hold then? The buck stops at the table of Mr. President.
But you heard what Mr. President said, that it's not his fault.
What?
Some politicians out there are making it look as though it's the federal government fault.
If it's not his fault, it's definitely not my fault. I'm not the CNC. The NSCDC doesn't answer to me. The Inspector General of Police does not answer to me. The Chief of Army Staff does not answer to me. The Minister of Defense does not answer to me. They are chiefs. We call them chiefs because they should be the final authority when it comes to anything that involves their own division. Those chiefs have questions to answer. And if they don't have any questions to answer, definitely the president has questions to answer. If he doesn't have any questions to answer to anybody, he has questions to answer to Nigerians. So the buck stops at the table of the president.
But what's his actions? What's the federal government actions, the security agencies' actions? What does that tell you?
You know, for me, I would like to say that without sounding a bit funny, the president has been sick for some time. And when you look at the issues of ill health, and you look at the president who is trying to manage his health, trying to recover fully, he's going to have to rely fully and solely on the advice of the people who he has put in office at different levels. And they have to come back and give him the true situation of things. And they also are responsible for drawing up at a tactical level those strategies that will help curtail some of these things. So I would say that without fear or favor, people are failing. And there's no consequence for failure in Nigeria, particularly when it comes to loss of life. There's no premium on life again in this country. We have an IGP there who is sitting down there in Abuja who's sent maybe an AIG, why must we always be reactive?
Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll go on a
AIG.
quick break. And when we come back, Anthony has a question for you. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Yes, we're still looking at the security situation in the country, especially focusing on the Plateau's killing, the Fulani herdsmen killing recently in Plateau State. And Anthony, before we went on that break, you wanted to ask our guest.
I was going to ask you a question about the IG, but then before that, we know the Mietiala admitted that the killings is as a result of a revenge when about 300 cows were rustled.
Yeah.
Now, they came out to admit that. Why, definitely, as an association of cattle breeders, why hasn't the police been able to probe them, arrest, to get to know the solutions and way forward?
I think that's a question for the IG to come on air and answer to Nigerians. I'm not in his office. I don't have responsibility for policing the Nigerian state. I know that we see the arrest of certain pastors just for making very incisive statements also. But it troubles me, it troubles the normal mind to see that an association, remember that the Mietiala, they are like the NRA in America, the National Rifle Association in America. They're a very strong pressure group. And at the eve of every election, you need to cut their good graces for you to win an election. And there's no northern politician in Nigeria who wants to face that pressure from that group. Because remember, the bulk of the northern youths and population there, they are really into cattle rearing. And that's a very strong platform. So it's understandable if you see ministers of the Federal Republic pandering to them and dancing around the issues and not being as decisive as they were in the issue of IPOB. Remember that the president won using majority votes from the north and the west. So, I mean, if you there's some politics going into this thing. We saw the other day the Minister of Interior came out and tongue-lashed the Benue State governor on issues of...
not able to control the state.
Yes, and I think that's the Minister of Defense. Then we saw another minister come out and also tongue-lash the Zamfara State governor for even just saying he resigned as CSO. And so when you see ministers who are saddled with responsibility for ensuring security, making statements to go against laws that are duly enacted and signed by by constituted bodies, it becomes alarming. So it's all
So definitely,
there's more to the issue than meets the eye.
The federal government is promoting impunity.
I would not say that you have said that, but I would say categorically that when it comes to any issue of criminality, we must deal with those issues decisively, unapologetically, without fear, without favor. Because the herdsmen have their own german concerns. Their cattle are being rustled. They don't have security for even themselves or their cattle as they traverse the whole land of Nigeria. So they also need security. The farmer also needs security. If you shield the farmers and you disadvantage the herders, that's also some form of, what do you call it now? Is this, yeah, that's being partial, and that's some sort of segregation. They're going to come back and try to also enforce their own rights. So these issues of, I think it comes back to the issue of understanding of conflict resolution and issues of security as a society. Okay, but sometimes, sorry, let me just, we're a bit too cultural. Somebody has committed an offense. Because he's your brother or your mother's relative, you can see clearly that what is done is wrong. You don't call a spade a spade. You try to cover for him just so that he would get scot-free. The person who he has offended would also want to do some form of reprisal attack. So I think the issues of farmers, headmen, they've gone to a point where you've now created a system that is perpetuating itself. The farmer does their own, the attackers does their own. So it's all a failure of security, basically.
Okay, but talking about failure of security,
yes.
If you look at what happened on the 23rd of June,
yes.
This month,
yes.
was a sad one where 11 villages was attacked. They were attacked. Aside that, it was for 7 hours. I just want us to look at how we operate. For 7
yes.
hours, 11 villages being attacked, and we have 200 people being killed. I
yes.
was killed in those attacks. But looking at it, there was no intervention from the security forces.
Yes.
I must say. What happened in these hours? And if you know 7 hours, given 7 hours, and we know how the thing is, people have been calling that they are attacking and no intervention from the security. What does this say?
I hear you, but you know, Lagos is about the smallest land, has the smallest land mass for a state in Nigeria, but it has over 20 million people cramped in. I served somewhere in Yobe. I was posted to a local government called Karasua. From Damaturu to Karasua, if I'm not mistaken, is about 4 hours. There are some.
Okay, I'm going to hold on there. There's a
yes.
caller. Ben, good morning to you. Ben, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Ben. I don't know, Ben, we're still waiting for you. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead. Ben, do you have a solution or a suggestion or whatever? Can we hear what you have?
Please, about this, I want to ask, is this headman, are they spirit or a human being? That Nigerian police or army can...
Okay, I guess...
Are they spirit? That's what I want to ask, because they are causing a lot of damages, killing human beings in this country. And you said that we have a president that cannot work against and work on it with all the security agencies we have in this country. No security, nothing. Killing human beings like a goat. I want to ask, please, whether is he a direct spirit, this man?
Okay, thank you, Ben. The guest will do that. Yes.
No, he has a very valid question. We are also asking the same questions. They are not spirits. They are not spirits. If you want to nip this in the bud, you look at the people, you try to know the people, you know where they are coming from, you look at their agenda, what they're about, you look at their supply routes, how are they getting weapons, how are they getting funded, You also try to do some investigation into where they gather, where they congregate, and try to infiltrate them and try to know what's the next step. They are not spirits. I think the DSS director must come and answer this question to Nigerians.
Okay,
if
but before we took that question,
yes.
Nicola, you were explaining what happened, because I'm feeling, shouldn't they be investigated? Shouldn't the security agencies be investigated? For 7 hours, nobody interrupted, nothing happened.
So you see, the problem is, some parts of Nigeria, okay, in some states, you can travel within a state 7 hours. 7 good hours. We have less than 400,000 policemen. We have police about 1,440 something, 1,440 something divisional police stations and outposts. You can have an outpost where you have 2 policemen deployed, maybe 1 policeman, 1 NSCDC, maybe 1 soldier, 1 civil defense, whatever it is. And they are being attacked by a group of 60, 50 people in a convoy. What do you think 2 people would do? The 50, 60 people who are attacking, they have anti-aircraft machine guns, mounted, anti-tank machine guns, mounted, shooting at the guy with an AK-47. What can those 2 people do? So it's not the cosmetic approach to security that will resolve the issues. Where are they getting their weapons from? When they move like that, where do they retreat back to? Who are the people sponsoring them? That's the area of intelligence. If there's any linkage between this terrorist group and some people sponsoring them outside, the NIA must tell us. If it's too classified to tell Nigerians, at least we want to see that something is being done.
Well, Anthony asked you a question concerning the Mayati Allah.
Yes.
I don't know if you got what he said.
I said, that's the question for the IGP to answer.
I'm coming to that.
The IGP has to answer.
No, I am coming to that.
Yes.
I want to just put more things to that one. He said that, I'm asking you,
yes.
the Mayati Ali had come out to say it's a reprisal attack.
Yes.
Because of the 300 cows. Shouldn't we ask questions? Shouldn't they be brought to book? Shouldn't they invite them and ask, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it the best form to kill 1 person for a human being? Shouldn't that be going on right now?
Well, I've said...
As a consultant, what do you think? What advice will you give? If someone comes in to say, hey, you killed my cows, and I'm going to kill human beings, what will you be saying?
Well, for me, the person sounds like he knows more about the killing than any other Nigerian.
So what will you be doing?
So they have to investigate. I can't tell the police what to do, but we can tell them the outcomes we want to see. Okay? Perhaps they can tell you they've invited them, we don't know. But you see, in Nigeria, we should stop excusing bad behavior or failures. There is somebody who sits at the apex of the police structure. Let us demand questions from him. Let's demand answers from him. There's a conspiracy of silence going on in Nigeria. But the killings are just outrageous and they are just unbelievable. There is a conspiracy of silence on the part of the NLC. If it's issues of wages now, you'll be hearing them speaking up. But where are the pressure groups in Nigeria? They should demand questions. They should ask difficult questions of the security chiefs and let them provide answers. And I'm quite impressed with the fact that the Plateau people have decided to take their own future into their own hands. They must ask questions of these people. Okay, let's ask questions.
Speaking of asking questions,
yes.
The IGP was deployed to Benue State to oversee the situations of herdsmen killings.
Yes.
And still the same person was invited by the Senate 3 times without showing up at the Senate. As the IGP, the head of the police department, review his body language?
I'm not getting the question. How do I view his body language?
No, review his body language.
I should review his body language.
Yes, to the killings in Nigeria.
As a professional, I would not go into conjectures. I'm not a psychologist or a psychoanalyst. We can do some psychoanalysis in our job, but I think that the IGP answers to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it's only the President that can review his work. And we as Nigerians can review the work of the President. So clearly somebody needs to review the work of the IGP.
Okay, but looking at the situation right now, yes. It is certain that there is no society that can be without some bad elements.
Correct.
Then relating it to what we're having is peculiar, yes. With what we're having right now in Nigeria.
Yes.
From your end, if you were to give a solution, what end will you start from? Especially because we'll be talking about security.
Yes.
This had been happening. It happened in the last administration.
Yes.
And it is inside this right now. Loads of lives have been lost from January up to date. But looking at all of these things, what would you be saying right now in tackling this?
My clear advice really is we voted, some of us supported, campaigned even for President Buhari. And he's a fine gentleman. He's a process-driven person. To the best of my knowledge, he has good intentions. But the people under him are not doing what they should be doing. So we must have the political will, the tenacity, to act decisively on the issue of security. We must show examples of any bad egg we have in the society. That said, we need to be fair also to the Nigerian police as a people. Now, why do I say this? The budget of the Nigerian police is about 347 billion naira, plus or minus. 90% of that sum goes into paying of salaries. That's all. There is no proper position for operational resources. Every division should have minimum 10 vehicles. They don't have, on the average, 2 good functional vehicles. So there's a police station in, maybe say, in a local government. Something has happened 1 hour away. They don't have vehicle to drive there. And when they even eventually get there, the assailants and the attackers will retreat into the bush to parts where you can't go with vehicles. So that's why you see that they're now buying motorcycles and having those motorcycles as force multipliers. We can react every time, but there has to be a proactive approach to security.
What kind of, if you said proactive, where do we start from? Because we want to look at it one step, we want you to take it one step after the other.
Yes.
If you are supposed to be, if you're the president of this country, where will you first start from?
Well, you ask a very tough question. I answer with a story. There's a certain man who goes about buying moribund companies, and once he buys those companies, the first thing he does, he fires the former head of the company and the executive team that led the company and run it aground. So the first thing we have to do is we have to rejig our security system completely, similar to what we did in the customs. Sometimes you may need to bring an outsider in to change a culture, because there's a culture of impunity that is perpetuating itself. The Nigerian security architecture was not set up to enable business or protect life. It was set up to protect the interests of the bourgeois and the colonial lords as at that time. That same parochial thinking has carried itself over up to this day. So there has to be a reorientation, and it may not work until you bring some new people into the system to shake up the system.
Secondly,
you go down to the communities. Give power back to the people. Give power back to the state government. The president, I mean, when you give power to people, it doesn't diminish your own power. There's so much the president has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. The president cannot be called to answer on any issue of security in any local government. There should be a state police structure whereby the communities are empowered, similar to what Lagos State is doing. Have some local enforcement, you call them sheriff deputies at those small county police offices, where you have police close to the people. If there's a stranger who comes into the community, you can report to an authority who has power to enforce the law. At least there will be a county jail. Let's evolve, pre-1966, pre even the Nigerian Civil War also. We had community police recognized in the Constitution. We had state police recognized in the Constitution. But when Civil War broke out, the military clamped down on the whole federating structure, and they now evolved a unitary system. So we're still suffering from the throes of that unitary system.
So you think we should go back?
Nigeria is too big, too complex to be operated and governed from the central. You must break up. When you look at tactics and insecurity, the British call they have something they call chain of command. You take chain of command to the field, to where it is most needed and most effective. You give power to that man on the field to take decisions as is deemed best. But what happens is that they say they've arrested some headsmen. That's good. You've arrested them. You want to prosecute them. You get a call from Abuja. Release the man. You get a criminal. You want to prosecute him. You get a call. Release the man. What are you going to do? You're a career policeman. And if the police could speak, if the army could speak, they will tell you the truth about what is going on. A lot of times they catch these people, they want to deal with them, they get a call saying release them. Do you know that the Fulani herdsmen, it's true they go about with AK-47, brand new ones most times. Where are they getting it from? Who's supplying them?
Are you saying we should be asking questions?
Who are the gun runners? Who are the people in the cycle? Can we follow the money? Can we follow the money and get to where the money is coming from? Whose interests are they serving? We employ tons and tons and a lot of people in Nigeria to do something. We have the DSS, can they give us intelligence? We have the NIA, can they provide intelligence? The office of the NSA needs to coordinate. You cannot have the Air Force, the Navy, the police, the Marine Police, you have the NSCDC, you even have Peace Corps, you have Lagos State Neighborhood Watch, you have Vigilante, you have Man of War, you have all these things, and we cannot find a simple answer to questions of security. It's becoming ridiculous.
A group of protesters rallied at Plateau State to the government house. It started peacefully,
yes,
but then it became violent because officials were not coming out to address them. The question is this: what do you see as regards democracy,
yes,
freedom of speech? What do you see in the nearest future? Do you think this will alleviate violent protesters, and how can this be contained?
No, for me, there's freedom of speech is guaranteed in the Constitution, but freedom after speech is another kettle of fish. No one should incite anybody to violence. You can air your thoughts and express your grievance in a most articulate and non-violent manner. What we call for is for us to elevate our discussions in Nigeria. When we talk on forums like this, because they are watching. The DSS has people who monitors. That's their job. They monitor and they collate and they help the executive and those in government also know the feel of what the people are feeling like. So,
okay, I'm going to hold you there to conclude because we're wrapping up. What is the caller here? Hello, Chinedu. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to contribute on the topic.
Yes, you can.
Yes. This issue of killing in the country, I want to say that because sincerity that this issue is not ready to the president is not ready to do anything. He's not ready to allow this killing to stop. Because I was listening to a program this morning that the Plateau people. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, the Plateau people, they complained that the security agents that were around, that they thought that they came to protect them, let us turn against them. And we are shooting at them. And that is why one of their village heads told the people that they should run away from the village. The president of this country declared IPOB that has never killed anybody, a terrorist organization. And his own people have killed thousands. And he never did anything with all seriousness. I will tell you, he's not ready to do anything.
Okay.
And I want to ask you a question because before Jonathan was voted out of power in 2015, majorly because of insecurity and corruption. And now, the same thing is like this times 10. Because the killing is overwhelming. You can't even, and the government, they are telling us between PDP, the number here is not completely matching a contract. The question I want to ask you again is, what can we do? Do we just continue like this? What can we do?
Okay, Chinedu, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Chinedu, thank you so much. Let him answer the question. And that will be the last caller for this segment. Yes.
What can we do?
That's why we're here.
Get your PVC. Participate in the democratic process. Ask questions of those who come to campaign. Show them their scorecard and let them know that 2,000 naira is not going to buy your vote or 500 naira for bread.
Okay, so, Anthony asked a question while rounding up, I think.
Anyway, as regards what can we do, General T.Y. Danjuma said
yes,
we should defend ourselves.
Yes.
And people, reactions have
yes,
trailed as regards that statement. in your own view, what
Yes.
does that mean, and how can we defend
And
ourselves?
you know, when he made that call, the army first came outside and they dismissed the call. Later on, they now validated, or they are trying to do something about it. They set up a committee to review his claims and allegations against the army. So it's not just an empty call. The military is also reviewing the complaints and the allegations. Okay, so I would not be one to call people out to anarchy. But the principle of self-defense will state that you must defend yourself with matching force. So if you come against me with a club, it's fair enough I should respond with a club. But if you then come against me with an AK-47 and I have a club, my club is no match for your AK-47. So I must call out for help. I must hold my DPO responsible for myself, because your DPO is the chief security officer of your division. I must be able to bring the police into the picture, which is why I was making a point to say Nigeria as a state and a country, we have not been fair to the police. We're spending about $3 billion on defense spending. There's been no clear-cut police reform in this country that will reposition, re-equip, and resource the police properly. These issues that we have, internal security issues, are issues for the police. I wrote an article and I said we are over-militarizing the security system in Nigeria. We should have an NSA who is not a retired military person. Because you need somebody who is more strategic, who is more open-minded, who has the military has a very firm and strong approach to issues of security. But some issues of security are best dealt with in a soft way. So let's look at who we have as NSA. Let's quit this whole retired.
Okay, but
In rounding off this topic,
Yes.
the president has said he's going to overhaul the security. Do you think that's the way to go, finally?
One of the ways to go, but if there's a culture that is perpetuating itself, then deal with the culture. We need to overhaul completely the security architecture in Nigeria.
Not just the security.
You can change the chiefs, but we need to change orientation. We need to inject fresh blood. We need to bring people from the private security sector into government. People understand the essence of security in a strategic way that supports protection of life and enables business. They say capital is a coward. Now, by all this incident that's happening, what we don't know is that we're losing FDI. People are not, foreign direct investment is not coming to Nigeria again. It's coming, but it's not coming at the rate at which it should be coming. So if I look at Nigeria and Ghana, and I look at security, and I look at safety of my funds, and repatriation of my fund, and safety of my people, I'm most likely going to go to Ghana. So security is costing us. It's costing our GDP, it's costing us as a people, it's costing us financially. The cost is too expensive. Not just beyond the cost of life is also very important. But you see, there are other many linked costs that we bear by the result of all this insecurity. Imagine 50 people died, at least 50 people died just yesterday. So there are issues everywhere.
Okay, but we must leave now. What word do you have for Mr. President right now? Just a word.
He's the president, he's the most powerful person in Nigeria, he's a CEC. The Constitution enables him and backs him up fully to do all he has to do, and the president should spare no cost to do what he has to do. He has all the powers.
I want to thank Onyekachi Adekoya, a security expert and also a consultant. Thank you for coming on this edition.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next, we want to look at the state of the nation. We'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
These are tips to help stay strong and healthy. Learn to do stretching exercises when you wake up. It boosts circulation and digestion and eases back pain. Studies have shown that eating a proper breakfast is one of the most positive things you can do if you're trying to lose weight. Breakfast skippers tend to gain weight. A balanced diet includes fresh fruits or fruit juice, a high-fiber breakfast cereal, low-fat milk or yogurt with wheat toast, and a boiled egg. Many people do not know how to brush their teeth properly. Improper brushing can cause much damage to your teeth and gums. It's not brushing at all. Lots of people do not brush for long enough, floss, nor see a dentist regularly. Hold your toothbrush in the same way that you would hold a pencil and brush for at least 2 minutes. This includes brushing the teeth, the junction of the teeth and gums, the tongue, and the roof of the mouth. Get your daily calcium by chugging milk or eating yogurt. It will keep your bones strong. Remember that your bone's density declines after the age of 30. You need at least 200 milligrams daily, which you should combine with magnesium, or it simply would not be absorbed. Tomato is a superstar in the fruit and vegetable pantheon. Potatoes and tomatoes contain lycopene, a powerful cancer fighter. They're also rich in vitamin C. The good news is that cooked tomatoes are also nutritious, so use them in pasta, soups, and casseroles, as well as salads. Tomatoes and apples can reduce the risk of asthma and chronic lung diseases. Both contain the antioxidant courseurin. To enjoy the benefits, eat 5 apples a week or tomato every day. We need at least 90 milligrams of vitamin C per day, and the best way to get this is by eating at least 5 servings of fresh fruit and vegetables every day. So hit the oranges and guavas. Folic acid should be taken regularly by pregnant moms and people with a low immunity to disease. Folic acid prevents spina bifida in unborn babies and can play a role in cancer prevention. It is found in green leafy vegetables, liver, fruit, and brain. Vitamins help to boost immunity-aging diseases. It also assists in the healing process of diseases such as measles and is recommended by the World Health Organization. Good natural sources of vitamin A are kidneys, livers, dairy products, green and yellow vegetables, pawpaw, mangoes, chili peppers, red sorrel, and the red palm oil. Do not have soft drinks or energy drinks while you're exercising. Stay properly hydrated by drinking enough water during your workout. Just don't overdo things, as drinking too much water can also be dangerous. Do not eat carbohydrates for at least an hour after exercise. This will force your body to break down fat rather than using the food you ingest. Stick to fruits and fluids during that hour, but avoid beer. Don't smoke, and if you smoke already, do everything in your power to quit. Don't buy into that granny smoked and live to be 90 crude. Not even the tobacco giants believe in it. Have a pap smear once a year. Not on our list of favorite things, but it's vital. Cervical cancer kills 200,000 women a year, and it's most prevalent from the cancer of blonde black people. Pretty much everyone agrees that fish is healthy. Living is particularly true of fatty fish like salmon, which is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids and various other nutrients. Studies show that people who eat the most fish have a lower risk of sorts of diseases, including heart diseases, dementia, and depression. The importance of getting enough quality sleep cannot be overstated. It may be just as important as diet and exercise, if not more. Poor sleep can drive insulin resistance and throw your appetite hormones out of whack and reduce your physical and mental performance.
Welcome back, where we want to look at citizenship and nation building. If you say citizenship, you're referring to what is conferred to you as a member of a state. And also we want to look at nation building, how we can all build this nation together. We have a guest in the studios this morning, Dr. Patrick Sita. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
He's
good morning.
He's a politician and also a maritime expert. Good morning to you.
Thank you. Morning.
Yes, looking at citizenship and nation building in the country, where do you think the state of the nation is right now as regards to the input of the citizenry?
Well, as long as I'm concerned, the citizenry has not enjoyed what actually should be meant for them regards to the basis that we are a rich country, and we have in one way or the other hurt one another. But then that should not deprive the citizenry their rights, at least to be part of the nation building, to be part of the nation ingredients that could at least be returned back to them. Because you have the citizenry, these are the makeup of the country. You understand? The ingredients are whatever the nucleus of the nucleus formation of nation building starts from the citizenry.
Okay, well, you are first a citizen. You're first confirmed as a member of a state. And so looking at the politician side, people keep saying the politicians are not giving us, we're not getting dividends for democracy. And looking at what we're going through right now, don't you think it has to start from us first? We are the politicians. So what do you think we need to do as an individual, as a politician?
Well, I think it's a high time that we all will rise up. It's not an issue of leaving it for few to continue to mess the people up. We all have to rise up now and say no when it's meant to be said. No more fear. Even if the killing comes, you go. To God be the glory, become a hero. I think I'm becoming so worrisome about seeing our politicians overstaying more than the duration is becoming alarming. That one will stay in the Senate for 16 years, going to 20 years. I wonder what the person is doing there. Just like America said, even if you are the golden or the diamond, you have to serve and live for others to serve.
Okay.
Because you can never get the diamond or the gold from one side. You may not know the best if you have not tried others. So I think anybody that have, regards to the citizenry, right, anybody that have stayed even 4 years is enough for you to go. But if you manage because of what you are doing is very good, and people will say, okay, continue to stay there, my community is okay, continue, go second term. After that second term, I don't think a reasonable person, if you are not a greedy person, should be forwarding himself on to go
politics,
for third terms.
In politics, yes, first term, second term, we would, lots of people, Nigerians, have been saying that politics is being most influenced according to culture, religion, and the likes. But then you now tend to look at it. In Nigeria, we are very diversified. Mm-hmm. And there's a slogan in Nigeria that says, our diversity is our strength. Would you say that it's our strength, or this has made us separate?
I think I will not subscribe to the diversifications, because it's what you want that will happen in your domain. Just watch Kenya, watch Ghana. These are the countries that we helped. Look at South Africa, country that we helped immensely, and look at where they are, the GDP. Look at where they are today. Look at our currency. I don't think any human in Nigeria will come and tell me religious, ethnicity, and this and that, classification, and so on, would be what would have been a problem. No. The problem is that the elites and the money moguls, as I can put it that way, people who have, in one way or the other, exploit others to be where they are today, and those who have amassed government wealth or government funds to put them in the position where they feel that they can never die. Some people has a lot of wealth that they feel that they will never die any day. So that becomes a very, very terrible and a very wrong ideology for any human being or any person at all, any politician to start looking at. So, but now, if you like me, you give me the best advice I will take, and I will take it.
Okay, on human rights, we would say as a citizen, we are running a democratic government. so to speak. But do you really think we are running true democracy in Nigeria?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But the worst democracy is better than military regime. That is how I put it.
Okay, but looking at
The
citizenship.
worst democracy is better than a military regime. But I could let you know that come 2019, anybody who has already served 8 years here should be banned going back. If you have stayed 8 years in office, be it Senate, House of Assembly, House of Representatives, anywhere, be it DG, that is the word we call it captain of Indo, anywhere you have been appointed and you have served for 8 years, let that person be banned not to come.
Okay, I don't know why, Doctor, I don't know why you're saying this, because we're really looking at it. Are you saying that we should get our laws back again, reform some of our laws?
Yeah, it has been there. I don't know why they failed at amending those particular portions of the law to suit what we are doing, so as to all these youth coming
These
out.
are elected
exactly.
people. They are
They're
elected
people.
Yes.
They're elected people. Are you now telling me that those in the Senate and the national, those in National Assembly, House of Representatives, Senate, State Assembly, and so on, that those people are better than those who have not been there at all?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we elected our people there.
If you're elected, they have mass money that is belonging to me and you to continue to stay there. Because those people, the ideology of those people they are using to continue to be there does not even know that it's I and your money they are using to be there. And
so how can the citizenry help in nation building? How can they help in capacity building?
Good. Let me tell you, if they are doing things right, I don't think most of them will be there. Most of all these people, if they are doing things right in Nigeria, I have never seen, look at France, independent candidate won. Nothing is impossible in Nigeria or in the whole world. Nothing is impossible. The only thing I could believe is divine touch. The moment God say he is going to take over this country from the people that felt that God has nothing to do as regards to the leadership of this country management. God will one day take it over. Okay. How it will come, you may not know. It's a divine, what we call divine process. And when it comes, almost all of them that have, in fact, some have overstayed their welcome. We are tired of hearing these names in ministerial, in MDGs, in every. Oh, we are tired of these names right here. Some names are yet to be known. There are names that we've not even known. You understand? If somebody is tired, you will continue to stay. Why should I listen to you? That is why Nigerians are not happy. They may not come free and say, so that they will not pursue them. But my own, I'm an activist. By virtue of my this, I'm an active human rights defender. Anything that is short of this, the dispensation that we're going into 2019 may not be
okay, you talked about names that are known and names that have not been known.
Yes.
Definitely, there are names that have not been known that can move the country forward.
Absolutely.
How does the citizenry emerge these names that have not been known to move the
to vote them forward? Out. I call all the youth in Nigeria, stand firm to defend their right, to defend their country. Don't allow them to continue to use you. You're becoming poorer and poorer and poorer and poorer, and they continue becoming richer. Look at every average Nigerian lives below $1 per day as regards to feeding.
So that's what we're saying. I said, what is our own role to this development?
Is to stop
what
them.
What should we begin to do?
What we should begin to do now is to reorient the people, reorient the citizen, even in the local areas that does not know exactly that what they are giving them is a peanut for what they should expect.
Okay, that's one aspect in politics.
That's one aspect. Then the other aspect is that how could you now the minimal or what we call the smallest thing that a citizen can enjoy, have never enjoyed it for one day. this particular dispensation will come, they promise 7 and 8, and never. One, water. Do you know that the statistics has brought it about that Nigeria paid over 100 trillion just to buy water? Me and you can testify that here. If I buy a bottle of water, she buys a bottle of water, and all those ones selling, they buy bottle water and pure water. In a day, you've consumed over 1,000 something or 2,000 naira water here. That is how it's in every offices. Some consume over 10,000, 20,000 in an hour in some bigger conglomerates and some bigger parastatals. Then somebody came into power, was promising this 7 and 8. He's going to bring a water scheme. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Energy will be there. This. Now, as I'm talking to you, you are running generator. The diesel is going.
Dr. Osita,
very
are
high.
you saying that you've not seen anything good in all of those coming out to leaders?
No.
Is that what
How
you're
do you
saying?
get pass mark as an examiner? How do you give somebody pass mark? If the percentage of my goods is bigger than the percentage of my bag, that is where we get credit. But if the percentage of my bag outweighs the percentage of my good, I don't think I've gotten it at all. What I'm seeing now is not up to 25 or 30%. And when somebody has 25% or 30%, it's not F9. And that F9 is not even a smaller F9. It's the F9 that has tail. I'm telling you as I'm talking to you now. Okay. Nigerians are dying.
Let's look at nation building.
We're not seeing any Nigerians are dying.
We're not saying it, and it shows that we're not building our nation well, isn't it? Is that what you're saying?
Not absolutely. There's no, in fact, there's a lacuna in the administrative building of leadership and the people. When you have a very terrible gap, it's like somebody you are working with to go to somewhere. The person is ahead of you with 100 kilometers. Do you think you can meet up at all with that appointment? You cannot. That's exactly what I was saying with Nigerian citizens and the leaders.
If you're given an opportunity, how will you build this nation?
Beautiful.
How will you build the country?
Very beautiful. I love this question. If I'm given an opportunity, I will not accept any name or any family name that has appeared, continue appearing from the decade to now we are in G generation. I will not allow that name to appear. First of all, to overhaul the general system of political administration and the operational side to enable the youths, the elites work together and then be able to remove those. You see, what the country wants now is who can deliver, who can give us the lights.
What areas, when we say deliver, what areas will you
deliver
look at?
Is one.
What areas will you be looking at? Is it maritime? Because I know you're a professional there. What areas will you be looking at to develop this country?
Good. Do 50-50 first. You ban rice, hoping that they are producing rice. The rice being produced is even costly than the one coming from there. With the importation, duty importation, everything, all the whole thing, spendings, still cheaper than what you are producing here. Where are we going? You can't rob Peter to pay more. Do Americans I'm talking to you, a major producer.
I'm saying you should atomize what you think you will do to help in nation building.
What I will do is one, I will make sure that the health sector.
The health
sector, first and foremost, health sector. I will make sure I give room for medicaments, free duty medicaments. Free duty. Let everybody bring in medicaments or medicine in this country. Let it be free duty. Let them pay a little tax for bringing. So as not anybody is just ordinary free as to who. A child that has no money, has no means of going to school, how do that child now have means of buying drugs if he or she is sick? That is what you're saying. Go there and see. The moment somebody becoming sick, it transferred it to another person. But if there's means of getting that drug free, that sickness can be cured without being transferred to others. Then you come into water, the major essential thing anybody can get in any country is water. Go to South Africa, any tap you open, central water system. You see this one hot, you see this one cold. But here, we don't even have hot, either cold. The borehole is even problem. The generality, people are just taking salary without doing anything. That is where I'm going to work on. People are getting salary in this country without doing anything. You give a traffic warder, police, where they should be, they are not there. You are not seeing them. You are not seeing them. People are staying one corner or the other, drinking beer, drinking mineral, eating. But there's a place they're supposed to stay and work. Who are monitoring them? Nobody.
Doctor, we know Nigeria is an oil producing company.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, oil is one sector we get our revenue from. But then in 2018, the GDP has fallen down. Now, to
Drastically.
increase this GDP, which sector, which other sector apart from oil should we focus on to generate more revenue?
Okay, good. See, in this country, that's like last time I listened to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Adeosun, was complaining that there's a lot of evasion on taxes. We don't seem to look at taxes collection as a very vital element in the system, as to or interested to nation building. Any country that takes tax as something that is nothing, that country, in fact, does not know what it's doing. Because if you don't have oil today, the only thing that will keep you is tax. Bear me witness. Some doesn't have oil. Some doesn't have oil at all. Go to Soviet Union. Some doesn't have oil, but they're living with taxes. But not overburden taxes like Nigeria. Nigeria give what we call overburden taxes. But the major problem and setback is that after those taxes have been paid, they are not using it for the taxpayers.
So if you have
they amass it. They amass it as their own wealth. They don't.
Okay, I'm going to hold you on there. There's a caller. Yes, we're going to take that. Hello, good morning to you. Alaji Ike, I guess. Good morning to you. Okay, can go ahead.
Taxes. Some are giving little tax, while some are giving heavy taxes to pay. Why they are earning little. But some are earning bigger and they are being given little taxes to pay. With even all cumulative of all whatever they have earned are not even used for the taxpayer. Am I talking of the road? Nowhere. Is it the infrastructural decay we have in the country? Nowhere. Is it the airports? Which one will you talk and leave the other? People have been dying throughout in Badagry, Stroke Seme, and Maitu and so on. Expressway. Expressway has been given contract over years. They have even abandoned the contract now. It's no more working. Last time we spent, before getting to my home, I spent virtually 7 to 8 hours to get to my home in Festac. What happened? I don't know.
Okay, doctor.
See, so if you know what to do, nobody will start telling you when the country start moving well. You will even know you have the sense. Our air is polluted. Our environment totally polluted. Dirty everywhere. Everywhere is much dirty.
Yes, you wanted to ask you a question.
The minimum wage in Nigeria is 18,500 naira. And then, though the NLC have been clamoring that it is increased to 65 and the ULC 95,000 naira. But then, is this what we need, or we need other things to be put in place to increase the revenue of the citizenry?
Minimum wage, you see, the country can collapse if you take up a wages you cannot pay. Even with the minimum wage, the existing minimum wage right away, federal government find it difficult to pay. I wonder where they are going to get money to pay the one they are going to increase. So let the society not be deceived. If you fix your economy very well, the economy start running very well, a GDP becomes very, very okay. There's
Okay,
no
so
way
how do we fix the economy?
How do you fix the economy good? How you fix the economy is look at the failure of others previously, country that failed before previously. Go to drawing board, know what they have done to come back to reality of life and make the economy fixed. Use those people. We have Nigerians that can fix this country. Some of them are outside other places, fixing other country. If they come here now to give that little this thing they have, they will not allow them.
Okay, in
People
wrapping
want
up,
to do best.
Dr. Sita, we need to wrap up now. In wrapping up, what do you think our own role as citizenry, our own role is in wrapping up this segment?
Well, I think we will continue to pray for the country, one. Two, the politics I'm seeing in this country is not the genuine politics. What we are doing in this country is using money to get ourselves into power. By the time no money is spent again, you will know the real people. Who are they in the policy that could allow, don't pay me salary again? Who among them that can say, I'm going there, I don't need allowance, I'm enough, I have enough?
How will they feed?
They're already more than okay. I'm telling you, those who go in there are more than okay. For me, I know I have a scholarship I'm giving to my community, 54 students. Pay for them, school fees, those who cannot fish for themselves. But I know those who are riding limousines, Cadillac, and so different type of car, I can name about 100 million.
So we should invest into the society.
Invest in the society, invest in human capacity, invest in infrastructural base to enable and accommodate those ones who cannot fish for themselves.
I want to
thank the government.
I want to thank Dr. Sita Chukwu. He's also a politician, also a maritime expert. Thank you for coming on this edition.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate more of this.
Okay, we'll go on this break and we'll be right back.
Superdawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.